and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Der Klassiker took center stage in the Bundesliga as Lucien Favre's men hosted Hansi Flick's at the Signal Iduna Park. Both teams expectedly find themselves near the top of the table and wanted a win to send out an early season statement. In a thrilling match, Bayern were able to come out victorious thanks to goals by Alaba, Lewandowski and Leroy Sané, whilst Royce and Haaland netted for Dortmund. The XG indicated that Bayern were clinical, with Dortmund slightly wasteful, 2.31 to 1.34. The XG time map confirms this, with Dortmund creating much better chances for most of the match. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. A special shout out to everyone who's been able to support Football Made Simple on Patreon so far. If you want to help the channel, I'd love it if you considered supporting on patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get perks like early access to videos, exclusive content, and so much more. A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below. When possible, Dortmund would build up short, looking to find their centre-backs, with the full-backs advancing slightly higher up the pitch. And Bayern were willing to press higher up, ending with a passes per defensive action of just over 8. This press could cause Bayern to shift to a 4-2-4, with the wingers pushing up and Müller alongside Lewandowski. They would look to filter the ball to the fullback, and Lewandowski would then look to cut off the options back into the centre-back and try to force them long. And Bayern, for the most part, would back up the press with their midfielders, trying to prevent the ball into the midfield, and their backline would push higher up the pitch as a result. And Dortmund, time and again, looked to take advantage of this high Bayern line. When they built up on the right and Bayern shifted across, they found success in looking for the diagonal behind Saar and towards Gio Reyna, whilst Royce and Haaland would make the runs central, and they got into some promising positions in this manner, and Neuer, as the sweeper keeper, would try to cut out this pass. And the pattern was similar on the left-hand side, where they preferred to build up. Because Bayern were fairly effective in the press, Dortmund didn't try to force intricate play through the centre of the pitch, and they looked for the constant runs in behind the high line instead. And this is how the Haaland goal came about. They build up down the left-hand side, and the ball breaks to Guerrero in midfield. The backline is fairly high, and as he was throughout the match, Haaland is on the defender's shoulder. Dortmund finally get a well-weighted ball over the top, and Haaland rounds Neuer and finishes well on the angle. But at times, they were able to get into good positions higher up the pitch, with Guerrero pushing high. Royce would often move into the half space to drag a fullback in, whilst the winger also moved infield to try and draw Coleman. As a result, Guerrero could get into good crossing positions down the left at times, and he ended with 5 crosses attempted, a ridiculous 8 key passes, and 2 assists. Now, how were the Bavarians able to come out on top? Bayern also primarily looked to build up short from the back, splitting their centre-backs to the width of the box to allow the full-backs higher up the pitch. At the same time, it meant that they would have the numerical advantage, as Royce tended to join Haaland in the press, so it would be a 3 versus 2. This pattern was pretty similar in open play, with Neuer pushing higher up to maintain this shape. And Dortmund here faced problems in how to deal with the Bayern pivots, as with Royce high, we often saw them free. Early on in the match, we saw them look to press them high at every opportunity, but Müller and Lewandowski could create angles to receive the ball behind the first line of pressure, with the wingers pushing the defense deep. Alternatively, the winger, particularly Gnabry, could look to drop into the space created, and this would also free Luka Hernandez to move higher up the pitch, which we did see a lot of. One of Bayern's disallowed goals comes this way. Delaney is high up, pressing a pivot, and Coman receives the long ball. With Delaney still high, you can see that there is acres of space available in front of the defense, which Coman drives into, and eventually leading to Gnabry's cross, and Lewandowski, who is just offside, finishes. So, Dortmund's pivots began to sit off of them, which was a problem as Kimmich or Tolisso and Goretzka could drive the team high up the pitch unchallenged, as the threat of the Bayern wingers in behind meant that Dortmund's backline would have to drop deeper rather than back up the press. So, as the game went on, the wingers would move infield to press the pivot, accepting that the ball into the fullback would be on. But, although most of their play came from the left, they were effective with switches from the right. We often saw Bayern overload the right-hand side, and Gnabry would then be free to come inside, whilst Hernandez pushed right up to provide the width. So, Munich could often be caught in two minds, so the switch could come directly to Hernandez, or Gnabry could receive the ball, drawing in Munich, then look to play in Hernandez for the cross. And Hernandez ended with a game-high 7 attempted crosses, whilst Bayern looked to load the box. And Lewandowski's goal comes in this manner. Tolisso spots Gnabry in the space, and Hernandez is making the overlapping run beyond him even before he receives the ball. Gnabry then plays in Hernandez, and Lewandowski produces an outstanding header to make the difference. But it should be noted, Dortmund were dangerous on the transition. With both fullbacks high, if they were able to get beyond Bayern's pivots, they would be running at the defense and often look to play into the space. Overall, after such a good performance, Dortmund will be bitterly disappointed to come away empty-handed. But the quality of performance may give them belief for the rest of the season. Bayern, on the other hand, were as efficient as ever and sit on top of the Bundesliga. If you enjoyed this video, we also have dedicated looks at Favre's Dortmund tactics and Flick's Bayern tactics linked at the end of this video. But what else did you notice? Drop it down in the comments below. And as always, a big thanks to my Patreons for helping to support, including Ricardo Hu and Moteb Adderwood. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.